What's going on, YouTube? My name is Ben. Welcome back to my channel, Houndoom's House. I hope you're having a great day today. It's been a couple weeks and I am happy to be back here right now. Today, we've got a video about tag grading. We're doing a full submission walkthrough today. In this video, we are going to walk through every step of grading with tag, starting with how to navigate the website, purchase the grading, how to create the submission, how to pack the submission and get it shipped out effectively. And then we'll also just be discussing a couple other variables in the process as we go through it. I figured looking at the response from the tag grade reveal videos that I put out a few weeks ago, it definitely seems there's some intrigue and some curiosity about tag grading. So I want to make sure that there's a resource out there that lets you know everything about how you get through that entire process effectively. Step one for this process is obviously just go to taggrading.com. Once you're at the homepage, you're going to click on the grading tab. And at the top of the page, it says how we grade. There's a few resources that will tell you some things about their grading process and then how it works. That'll give you some information regarding like submission kits, slabs, how they authenticate, all of that kind of stuff. Under tag services, there are two brackets. One of them is regular, so that's going to be all of your grading tiers, where your max coverage per card is $1,000. And then priority is going to be the grading tiers where you can exceed $1,000 of coverage per card. Starting off at the left with the basic tier, we can see it's $22 a card and there's a 10 card minimum. A minimum card amount is pretty standard for these bulk submission tiers. And this is actually recently updated as of a few days ago because Tag has seen a huge increase in their volume, it looks like. So as of this recording, April 5th, this basic is $22 a card and a 10 card minimum. Coming down to grading, you do get obviously a grade when you submit at the basic tier, but you do not get the precise 1,000 point score. That's what they use to determine your grade. This is not included at the basic tier. Speed and protection, so it's going to take 45 plus business days right now for the basic tier, and you can cover $300 per card. Note that does say 45 days plus. I don't know what that plus could be. It could be up to 90, 120, just based on the volume. So keep that in mind if you are submitting at this tier. Reporting, this is kind of the analytics, I guess you could say, that you get access to when you're grading with tag. So dig report, you will get a report back that shows you what you were dinged on, essentially, like the corners, edges, surface, centering. And then imaging, it'll give you a front and back of the card. And I personally need that because it makes it a lot easier when I list these on eBay. Service details, they'll do a little card care, so they'll make sure the card is clean and it's in a fitted protected sleeve, and then encasing, archival UV protection, which I think just means the slab is UV protected, but honestly, it's pretty clear, so I'm not 100% sold on that. Coming over here to the standard tier, this is probably the most common. This is just like, hey, I want to submit this card because I want to get it graded. You're probably going to use standard tier. So standard, anytime you see something like highlighted on the website, that means it's like an improvement over the previous tier. So standard, as you can see, you do get the 1,000 point global card rank. And then you also 30 business days for, that's the estimated turnaround time. And then the insurance, you can actually insure $500 of value per card. Coming down here, in imaging, you get a premium slab imaging. It's a little better than just the basic tier, and then the card rank is actually that 1,000 point score. You do get that includes on the leaderboard. So that's used to determine, like, okay, if I have a 989, is this the number one Gem Mint 10 out of all of the Gem Mint 10s? So a little extra detail that you get with the standard tier. And then again, service details, same stuff. Coming over here to Express, we can see it's $59 a card. This one, you're going to get some of the same things as well, but the estimated turnaround time is 15 business days. Now, as of this making, like I said, it's April 5th. There have been a lot of concerns with like people's Express orders specifically. I've read a lot on like Reddit about how they're not seeing those go through. I personally sent some stuff in at Express and it took a while to get back. I think some of it came back with a standard submission. So you know, there might be some discrepancies there as of this making, but again, 15 days is the estimated turnaround time. You get a lot of the same things, except with this, you get a 360 video, which is cool. I guess. I don't know. I don't need it. But, and then service details, same thing. So today, the two cards that I'm grading are the Mega Charizard XEX from Phantasmal Flames and the Zekrom from Black Bolt, the monochrome. So what I'm going to do, I actually want to get these sent at Express, so I'm going to click select. And when it takes me to this next screen, I'm going to go down here and fill out the options. One is mystery foil wrap. I always get the mystery foil wrap. That's how, if you've watched any of my previous videos of like revealing slabs, I can kind of build the suspense a little bit. I also think it's just like makes it like opening a pack too, so that's kind of cool. And then the second thing you've got is the submission kit. The submission kit is actually really helpful. They give you all of the supplies for a grading submission, and it comes with a prepaid label. It's got $1,000 in shipping insurance. So it kind of does a lot of the work for you, but it is through FedEx. And I'm always a little weary of shipping with FedEx because I don't know. I've heard a lot of nightmare scenarios that people have had, especially when it comes to grading Pokemon cards with FedEx. So for this, because it's only 2 cards and because it would be an extra $50, I'm just going to submit myself through UPS, so I'm not going to check this right now. Next, quantity of cards, I'm going to select 2, and I'm going to add this to cart. All right, now that I have added it to cart, I can see up here, I've got 4 things in my cart. And I've probably got a couple extra things because I probably added these beforehand. Yeah, so we're going to change the quantity to 2. And then you can add a note to your order. I don't know what you'd want to say right there, but if you want to, you've got the freedom to do it. But now we can see subtotal $118. So I am going to click checkout. And we'll see if this is a good use of money, because I know this Zard it's really bordering on 55-45 with the top bottom centering, but I figure it's such a nice card. There's just no harm in getting a grade. If it 10's awesome. If it doesn't, it's whatever. So here we're going to check out. So I'm just going to enter my information, and I'm going to attempt to do this without doxing myself. Just got done checking out, so now I actually need to create my submission. So I'm going to go to my account icon over here. Click that. It's going to take you to your account homepage, and then there's a submit button at the top right corner. Click that, and it's going to show you all of the different packages you've purchased of grading. So if you had purchased, let's say, 2 or 3 different tiers of grading in the same order, they would show up as different lines here. I'm going to go to the bottom, which is the one I purchased today. These are just some other stragglers I've had, and I'm going to select yes. So I'm going to click proceed, and I can see that was for 2 cards. So now I have the option to enter an order nickname. So I'm just going to put in Zekrom 172, Charizard 125, and that'll just let me know when I'm looking at my orders later on, maybe trying to track or like audit and find something down the road, which that was. So now I've got to enter in what the cards are, and this is actually super easy to use. I've had a lot of good experiences with this portion of the process when it comes to tracking down the cards that you're actually trying to grade. I know with PSA, and it's probably because PSA is so vast in what they grade, it's a little harder, but like, I mean, I usually just type in the card name and then the number, and I get it like almost every time. So we can see, here's the card right here. Looks like both of the cards that I need. We're good to go. I would like this foil wrapped, so I elected for that earlier, so just another checkbox here. I actually can't even uncheck that, so I don't know why it's there. But then, yes, I understand that my order may be delayed or subject to additional fees if it contains a card outside of the scope. So just always make sure you understand what you're actually signing up for with these grading companies. It's called an estimated turnaround time for a reason. It's not guaranteed. And one more thing before we continue, it says 2 out of 2 cards selected for this current submission. If I purchased like 10 express grading tiers, right? When I do the submission, I have to submit all of them. Like, I wouldn't be able to do 1 out of 2 and then continue on with this submission. So just make sure when you get it, you've got the right amount for what you need. Anyway, we're going to click next right here. If you scroll down, and I can see right here, my address, which don't look at that. Return shipping service is going to be FedEx 2-day. Like we said earlier, that is insured. It's when you check out, you're charged for that. So they take care of the return shipping. And then Tag Rewards, which has been coming soon since I think I started grading with Tag. So I should have a lot more points than I do. But once we're done with that, we're going to click next. And submission confirmation, we can see, yep, just double check everything. Always make sure your address is good, make sure your email is good, anything that you would need contact information wise, make sure the cards are correct. You don't want to deal with this down the road. And I know if you're grading 60-70 cards, pain in the ass, but it will save you a lot of trouble down the road potentially. So just always do it. That's my recommendation. Not everyone's got to do it, but I'm one of those people. And then, yeah, you have to agree to the terms and service. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to click submit. Bam. All right. We've got our order. It is now finalized. So we get an order ID for this as well, and that'll show up on your dashboard. The next thing that we have to do is click download packing list. So we're going to download the packing list. I'm going to print this out. So one thing, and let me know if you have a workaround in the comments. They make this list black and it uses so much ink. I had a good workaround for a while where I would put this into Microsoft Word and like invert the colors. But when I started doing that one day, it just would not, it would like deformat everything in this file. So I lost access to doing that. So now when I submit, this is my least favorite part, is just using all of this printer ink for this. But I got to move this real quick. We're going to print that out and then we are going to move on to actually packing the order. All right, got my packing slip right here. I folded it down because I am going to include it with the cards, but always want to make sure that the cards are in the order that they appear on the packing sheet, and I did. We've got Charizard first, Zekrom second. All right, so I'm going to throw these into the team bag. You always want to make sure that everything's in a bag, just in case it's introduced to water. That does provide a lot of protection. So we're going to seal that up, and I want to make sure the packing slip is good too, because let's say something happened and it did get into water. I want to make sure that that slip's there and it's clear so that if anyone could see it, they would understand, who it's for and things like that. But we've got this in here now. Next step is going to be adding some rigidity to protect it further. So I've got 2 pieces of cardboard right here, and these are a little on the small side, honestly. But they'll work for the way that I ship, and I'll show you here in a second. I use these to actually ship out singles and top loaders, so that's what they're meant for. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape this up. We're going to fold that so it's a little more compact. And then, perfect. So we're going to sandwich that. And this is just another layer of protection. I think most grading websites advise you to do this when you're grading, and especially when you're submitting, because they don't want... they don't want to have any issues with getting a package that they receive and something's happened to the cards, and that means probably a dispute between the person that shipped them and then, the person that received them. So I always just try to make sure my cards are secure and I'm following, as much recommended protocol as possible to avoid any issues. And I do think that... and this is just, maybe a hunch of mine, but always following the rules like this, I do think they appreciate that. So I do think maybe, there's a little goodwill you could get thrown your way. But anyway, we've got this now. This is packaged up. As you can see, well defended. Next thing I am going to do is I'm going to throw this into a bubble mailer. And this is just, again, another layer of protection. So I try to make this well protected, but while also being easy for somebody to unpack, because I don't want them to have like something super difficult and maniacal that I packaged to unpack, because that's going to be frustrating for them. And I am, like I said, trying to make their job easier. So if there is goodwill involved, I can get a little bit of that. All right, we've got this. I'm actually going to now add another layer of bubble wrap. And perfect. A little more tape. Which way is it going? There we go. I don't know if anyone else does that, but sometimes you look at tape and you can't tell which way you're supposed to pull it. But got that. So this is very well protected right now. Obviously, when I am working on something that is a larger shipment, I will probably have to change this up a bit, but I'm actually just grabbing a box because I forgot one. So now I'm actually going to put this in a slab box. So I use these when I'm shipping slabs out. These are just 7x5x1 boxes. I really like these. I get them off Amazon. Once you get good at unfolding these, or not unfolding, folding, they're really easy to use. So I'm going to put this bad boy together real quick. All right, so now you can see this fits perfectly in there, and with the extra layer of bubble wrap, should be a little snug. I can hear it shaking around a little bit, but that's okay. Got that. So now we've got it in several layers of protection in a cardboard box. Next thing I need to do is tape it up, and I don't mess around with the tape. So what I'm going to do first, a little caution tape on the bottom. Get that shut down. Now do the same thing on the top. Now I use this for all of my submissions. Again, like I said, you know, I've heard some horror stories about FedEx. I mean, I've heard horror stories about everything, I guess, when it comes to grading, but my recommendation is just do whatever you can to make your package look as either inconspicuous or as untamperable as possible. I don't, like for me, I always go the route where I don't mention anything about Pokemon cards. You know, if I'm creating my own shipping, I don't mention, the order contents of this, like with UPS, they'll make you say your order content. So I never put cards or anything like that. I always just say something very generic. And then I always use this tamper-proof tape. I just find that throwing as many, roadblocks at something like that is the best way to go. And then I always just do one more piece of like packing tape, because I don't know. I feel like the packing tape is a little stronger. So this is just for like good measure. But at this point, this is a hardy package right here. So now this is ready to get a shipping label. And once I get that, I'm going to go on ups.com, just use my account. I'll generate a shipping label myself, slap it on top of here, and we are good to go. All right, and that wraps up the entire process. I do think that tag is it's a pretty easy system to use. I think maybe it could use a few tweaks, but they're getting there, they're growing. But overall, I've had a very consistent experience with tags so far. So if you're still thinking about giving them a try, which if you watch this, I think you are, I highly suggest it. But let me know in the comments below if you have or haven't graded with tag, or just who you like to grade with the most. I'm always curious to see what is going on out there. But, that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you on the next one. Peace.